Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request from Seb B. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box. There could be any tier list, ranking, movie news, review, re-review, video game playthrough, topic, whatever the case may be. I'll get to as soon as I can. I do apologize for the lateness of it. I'm trying to get these out as soon as I can. That's why I'm doing as much as I can tonight. It says can't go anywhere because it's like fucking 35 degrees outside. But in Texas. But he wanted me to review The Castle from 1997, which is an Australian comedy that I never heard of, but I might have seen this cover a couple times throughout the years, but just never went about seeing it. Now, there's only one person I recognize in the cast, and he's in a supporting role, which is Eric Bana, who will later be in the 2003 Hulk film, Black Hawk Down, the underrated Deliver Us from Evil. But he's in it for, from time to time, a supporting role. The others I'm not familiar with. Michael Caton, Stephen Curry, Sophie Lee. These people I'm not really familiar with. And we have this family called the Carradines. Very, very blue collar. Their home is right next to an airport. The dad is our lead. He's a tow truck driver. And I will say, overall, I did like it. I didn't find it laugh out loud hilarious like some critics did. But I didn't mind it because, I guess to use a term from the movie, the vibe. It's about the vibe. It's all about the vibe. I didn't mind the vibe of this movie. It has like a quirky, good-natured tone to the family that maybe some things are lost in translation between Australia and America. That if I'm Australian and I knew more of that area, that maybe there's stuff I would get more about this movie. But they seem like such a loving family and optimistic that I kind of was a sucker for these characters. And I grew to like these characters. The dad just likes to go out and look at the power lines, and the daughter was on The Price is Right, and she gets married to Eric Bana's character. The dad's always complimenting the mom's cooking, even though it's, what is that? Chicken. And what's that on top? Seasoning. Oh. Like the most rudimentary stuff. Like he gets a gift. There's like a samurai sword letter opener. Is I won't even take it out. And like one of the sons narrates through the film, and the way he narrates is very like simple-minded. Like there are times he repeats stuff. It's a great stuff because it's great. I don't think he says that particular line, but like he'll say something and like repeat it almost right after it. And just the way they chat with each other, like the mom's talking to the daughter, and the daughter's like, "Well, thinking of not having kids till I'm 23," and the mom immediately goes, "Times have changed." I just with the mom, they had kids a lot earlier, a lot younger, and just how optimistic. Like they go to this place called Bonnie Doon, and they're fishing. They're like, "Fishing is 10% brains and 95% muscle." And it's like, again, that vibe throughout. Like, for example, the son will keep mentioning these things that are up for price. And then the dad will go, "How much are they asking for?" Huh. What was the thing he would say? Well, he's dreaming with that one. Again, this kind of stuff where, again, I'm kind of like smirking or maybe soft chuckling, but it's just, good-natured. And it's mostly at this one place. Now, the story itself is they get contacted that the airport nearby is expanding. So they're trying to buy up the people out there, trying to buy up the neighborhood and forcing our characters out of their home. You don't have the settlements, I forget how much, 60, 70,000, whatever. But it's like, wait a minute, it's not a house, it's a home. You know, this is my castle. Hence the title. And they don't want to leave, and they try to fight it, going, wait a minute, this isn't right. You can't just force us out of his home, and I don't want to take the money. And plus, even then, the money's not going to be enough because we have all this stuff, and they have dogs, and they have all this stuff, and how you don't afford it with this little bit of money, and they try to fight it, so they get this lawyer who's a pretty shitty lawyer, but the actor I liked. He's one of my favorite parts. Like, the first thing we see the lawyer is he got this photocopier. He's like, these fucking photocopies. F3, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is an F3? He sounds like me when I'm looking at anything technological. If I look at anything, whether it be a phone, or try to learn something about video games, like trying to install something, I feel like, what the fuck is that? So he sounds like me. So I thought he was pretty funny. Let me actually, what's that guy's name? I keep hitting the wrong damn button. So I should have had his name written down, but I'm bad with names, so I did like him. Sorry, just 1 second. Yeah, it starts Michael Catton, Ann Tenney, Stephen Curry, Sophie Lee. Yeah, Michael Catton is the dad, Ann Tenney is the mom, Stephen Curry is the youngest son, he's the narrator, Sophie Lee is the daughter, Eric Bana is her husband, Anthony Simcoe is the second oldest son, Wayne Hope, yeah, there's this guy who's in prison, but the youngest son goes see him from time to time to see how he's doing. Tyrell Mora as Dennis, a bumbling small-town lawyer. Yeah, he doesn't really know what he's doing. Because there's also a bit where I mentioned the vibe, where he's trying to talk to the court on why you can't take the home. It's with the Constitution. Well, what about the Constitution? It's the vibe of it, ma'am. It's the whole vibe of it. And of course, he loses the case because he doesn't know what else to say other than the vibe. The vibe. It was just the vibe of it. And it plays out better than I'm making it out to be. And I say there's these little things that kind of pop up, and because it's said with such sincerity, that did make me chuckle. Like, there's a bit where someone tries to threaten the dad, and one of the kids has a gun and scares him off. You're not supposed to have a gun. Where'd you get that? I got it from this other guy. How much was it? 180? What was he asking? 250? He was dreaming. And yet, I like this lead guy, Michael Keaton. I looked up his filmography. I don't recognize anything else he's done. I don't think I've seen him in anything. But I did like him. I thought he was very likable, sincere guy. I don't know how else to word it. It is. It's kind of some of those moments of just kind of, what's the phrase I'm thinking of? They don't overdo the comedy. At times it's played very straightforward. And that makes it a bit funnier. Like, we're goofy and silly. They don't do that. So, like, when the youngest son comes back from the jail and reads what the son in prison wanted to tell the dad, and he's reading, blah, 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 blah. And he wanted me to change get foot, but I forgot. So he's reading, like the guy says get fucked, but make sure you change it. So he says it and then goes, oh, I forgot. Nah, it plays it straight. It kind of makes it a bit funnier. So spoilers, they lose the case, of course. They have 2 weeks to leave. But this guy that our lead character met, his name is Lawrence. You find out he's a retired barrister and lawyer. He takes the case, says some words, wins the case. Lawrence becomes friends with the family. Eventually, the guy in jail gets out of jail, starts a tow truck business with the dad, and everything works out for everybody. It all works out fine. It says here the film took 5 weeks from its original inception to the final cut. That's a quick amount of time. The screenplay was written in 2 weeks, shot in 10 days, and taken to rough cut in 2 weeks. That's a pretty damn short time to make your film. The cast was filmed in Melbourne during July 1996. In January 2011, the property that appeared in the film was up for sale. The property's real estate agent reported that many people called and after requesting the vendor's asking price, replied with, "Tell me he's dreaming." The same thing that the dad says. Because I thought that was pretty funny as well, so... I'm trying to see... Previewed on 34 screens in Australia, grossed 122,000 Australian, ranking 14th at the Australian box office for the week. Became one of the top 10 grossing Australian films of all time. Really? So I'm curious, what are the top Australian productions, it says. Oh, okay, well this is different. The following is a list of the highest grossing Australian films at the Australian box office. Crocodile Dundee has remained the highest grossing for 39 years, even without factoring in inflation. Crocodile Dundee was a huge fucking movie, but people don't understand. And I love that film. I cannot believe that does not have a good fucking edition on home video. It was on a 3-pack with the others, but like no features. Like, come on. Australia. Is that the one with Hugh Jackman? Yeah, number 2. Babe, number 3. Elvis from 2022. That's Australian. Number 4. Happy Feet. Why? Because George Miller directed it. Number 5. Let's see. Moulin Rouge. Well, okay, it's not on here anymore, I guess. Previous Australian record holders. They're a Weird Mob, Alvin Purple, Picnic at Hanging Rod, Mad Mask, Gallipoli, The Man from Snowy River, Crocodile Dundee. What the hell? I mean, it said that. I clicked on it, and now it's not here at all. Maybe update that shit. Sorry about that. So I guess at one point it was, but not anymore. 87% Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars. And I'm curious, what does it have on IMDb? Again, just out of curiosity. It has 7.6. So I guess a lot of people compare it to the Full Monty, where it's a comedy from overseas, and I'll be honest, I kind of like this more than the Full Monty. I did not hate the Full Monty, but I actually like this a bit more. I would say the characters I liked a little bit more, a bit more subdued in terms of the situation at hand. So I don't know if I say it's more relatable, but it's I don't know, just really able to really get behind the characters. Directed by Rob Sitch. Which I'm curious, what else has he done afterward? Just curious. Sorry, I'm not talking about more about the film, but I can't. But when I get on this, I kind of lose focus. Okay, it says actor, writer, and producer. Does that tell me his other directing? I don't know why, but okay, fine. Anyway. But yeah, the film as is, I liked it. I didn't, like I said, I wouldn't say it was hilarious, but there's enough moments that I smirked at and chuckled at. Really not a whole lot of disliked. Kept it a decent enough pace, didn't feel too overlong. Doesn't go into too many like humongously silly antics or cartoonish sound effects. Doesn't really go into any of that stuff. Or them moving very fast like the Benny Hill or any of that. It doesn't do any of that stuff. Bit more low key. And yeah, overall, I didn't mind it. I just like the poster kind of made me think it was going to be much more zany. But I'm actually glad it wasn't that. So it just felt, I won't say it felt more real, but it just felt a bit more fun. I like the vibe. I just like the vibe better than I thought it would. I don't know how else to put it. So, but overall, I did like it. I thought it was a fun little film that I'm glad to watch. Thanks to Seb B. So thank you for that, man. So that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.